Hello, my name is Mr. Christians and this is my shield. I suppose I could start by just showing you my old school picture. This was taken a couple of years ago, and I don't know, I like the color of my shirt, I guess, so I've kept it ever since. You can see that I put my name right up here on the top so that when I hang this in the room, you'll always be able to put my name with my face and everything will be good to go. Before I get into the content of my shield, I want to show you that when you're actually building a shield, it's literally a shield. It's not a piece of paper with a drawing of a shield on it. You actually want it to be having the contour and the shape of a shield. My shield is probably a little bit larger than what you have to have. I tend to do things a little bit crazy. I'm not the neatest when it comes to arts and crafts, and you can see that some of the paper has had better days. What I did, trying to make it a little sturdier, is I did started with a piece of cardboard. I cut it out, took pieces of construction paper with different colors, just kind of a random shape, put those over the top, and then I put my personal artifacts that I'd collected on top of that. You'll also notice on the back sort of a handy dandy little duct taped handle. The only function that serves is it allows me to hold the shield in front of me and move it easier. That's it. Maybe you also noticed on the back I put my cheat sheet of the content from my shield so that as I'm sharing this shield with you, I don't have to stop and turn and look and point, that I've already sort of rehearsed it and I can just read it without having to turn my shield around. It makes things a little bit more smooth, I think. So feel free to borrow all those ideas if you choose. But basically what I want to be able to get across to you in this presentation is the shield is something physical that you hold. It's something that is visual, that you can see. You'll notice there's not a lot of text on my shield, but there is some. Down here at the bottom are individual words for my 5 favorites. I wrote those by hand. It did not take me very long, and it isn't very neat. But all these artifacts come from different items that I possess, either photos or from catalogs, magazines, maybe some were downloaded off the computer. So you want to be as creative as you can and use the resources that you have. So real quick, just to go over the content of my shield, which will be the focus of your presentation during class. We can start up here with some of the activities and hobbies. You can see here's a catalog picture of a travel trailer. My family we'll camp at state parks during the summertime. We prefer to go toward Lake Michigan and park our trailer at one of the state parks on the beach, probably Pentwater or Grand Haven is another popular destination for us in the summertime. In terms of childhood memory, you'll see a couple that I put on here. One is pretty graphic. This is a picture of me when I was 16 years old and I had just had a car accident the night before. This was the car that I had purchased, my own money, my first car that I bought. Somebody pulled out in front of me and I crashed into that individual, and this is the damage that was done. Now obviously there are all types of life lessons and stories that are connected with that particular example, but you know what, when I lecture you guys about life and decisions and how fast it goes, part of that comes from experience, and I'm sure you'll hear the long story at some point during the term. This is my symbol, and there's a small picture of Sparty, and this is what a lot of times students will struggle with, dealing with the life symbol. You have to be kind of creative, abstract. Maybe you don't have a life symbol before now, and maybe this life symbol will only serve the purpose of the presentation. I selected Sparty because I graduated from Michigan State University. It was a great 4 years of my life, and we're still affiliated with the university. My wife graduated from Michigan State. We have several relatives who also graduated from Michigan State, so we're still very active and involved with the community at Michigan State University. And in terms of a mascot, Sparty's pretty funny. He's a pretty tough guy. He always tends to win. He perseveres, but he tends to handle himself with class. So I don't know. I found this picture of Sparty online, and I thought I'd go for it. Some of the strengths that I would think that I have. One is I have the gift of gab. If you have any older siblings or people who've been in my class, know that sometimes I can start telling stories, and my stories tend to be a little long-winded. Hopefully they have a point and they're somewhat entertaining. but I can tell a story. And that's a picture of me telling some stories back when I was in 8th grade. I think this picture serves a couple purposes. You'll see it. One, I'm wearing a pink sport coat, and my mom put me in the pink sport coat, and I looked pretty good in it. Here in Lowell, it's not nearly the stigma to wear pink, because we understand now that it's perfectly okay for boys to wear pink. But back in 1986 in Sparta, Michigan, to wear pink was kind of brave. But here I'm telling some of those stories and speaking to an audience. And I love public speaking. It's never been something that's caused me anxiety. I enjoy being in front of people, and I think a lot of times I have a pretty good message to share with people. So I would consider that one of my strengths. And then, of course, I've got this little Big Ten emblem here. I don't know if it's a strength, but it's definitely my knowledge of Big Ten sports, my commitment, my passion for Big Ten sports. I love all the schools. I love everything the Big Ten stands for. And this is the Big Ten basketball tournament logo, because we're such fans of Michigan State athletics in particular that when we can, we travel to Indianapolis. And this is from the Big Ten championship tournament from a few years ago. We had a great time. My perfect day, this is a picture of a whitewater rafting expedition down the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. That'd be my perfect day. Money didn't matter, time, space, none of those practical things. I think that'd be awesome. Can you imagine being in a raft, floating through the Grand Canyon, just the perspective on life? So I put that on there. My future plans are to, I'd like to kayak the shorelines of the Lower Peninsula, start someplace in the southwest, Benton Harbor, work up through South Haven, make my way all the way around the Mitten. It would be something that I'd need time to do, and I would need the right equipment, but I think it would be an amazing way to experience the state that we call home. And then down here at the bottom, 5 favorites, always the fun and interesting category. Don't need a lot of explanation. One of my favorite treats is a cup of coffee with a donut. Don't do that all the time, but boy, when I do, it's irresistible. Number 2 is playing chess with my son. My son Max is going into 7th grade, and we have a lot of fun trying to outwit each other. Neither one of us is very good, but it's good bonding time. Number 3, I love expensive meals. I love to go to fancy restaurants and be pampered and catered and spend all kinds of money. I know it's ridiculous and it's frivolous, but I love doing it. We can't afford to do it. We only do it probably once a year, if that. But when we do, I like to spoil myself with good food. Number 4 is traveling. Love to travel. One of my favorite things to do. One of the best things about my schedule is being able to invent places to go and things that we can accomplish, sometimes on a larger budget, sometimes on a tight budget. But we like to get out of the house and do stuff. And then the last thing is kind of a fun thing. It's peppermint. If you've ever been around me, or my friends who've known me my entire life, back into high school and junior high, I've always had peppermint candies or pieces of gum. I've always keep peppermint flavored snacks handy and around, and we have a good time with that. So basically, that's my shield. I was pretty thorough. I tried to give you enough information so you had an understanding what this was about. During your presentation, we could maybe connect at this point. I might raise my hand, ask you to further explain something. Somebody else in class might say, hey, I've been there too. Or they might have a question, were you in Grand Haven for the Coast Guard Festival? So this is a great way for us to sort of get to know each other and bridge the distance. Then when we're sitting in class, sometimes we only see what we see at face value, and this hopefully will get us beyond the shields that we've constructed to keep ourselves safe. So look forward to seeing your shields in class. Hope this helped.